I stood on the cracked steps of the Crestview and the wind tugging at my damp coat as rain pelted the coastline. I'm Nora Ellis, and this crumbling hotel was my last refuge tonight. Once a jewel of the shore, its peeling paint and sagging roof now whispered of forgotten days. My boots squelched as I climbed, suitcase dragging behind me, the storm having swallowed my usual spot under the pier. Through the downpour, the inn's faint sign flickered an ember in the dark. I'd passed it before, a grand ruin I admired from afar, but tonight it was my only shot. I knocked, the sound lost in the gale, and waited, shivering until the door creaked open. Henry Grayson, the owner, loomed there, his weathered face stern. His eyes scanned my soaked figure, hesitating, but he stepped aside with a grunt, letting me in. Inside, the lobby wrapped me in stale warmth, its faded elegance heavy with dust. A chandelier flickered weakly above, and Henry slouched by the bar, nursing a glass of something dark. I settled by a small fireplace, my clothes steaming as the flames danced. Silence stretched between us, thick and uneasy. I didn't dare speak, afraid it'd shatter the fragile permission to stay. Henry watched me from the corner of his eye, weary, like I was an intruder in his tomb. It hurt of him. A man had built this place with his own hands, only to watch it fade as tourists dwindled and deaths grew. It's beautiful, I murmured, glancing at the ornate walls. He scoffed as his bitterness hung there. But I pressed on. It could be again. He stiffened, turning away, but I saw a crack in his armor. Morning came, the storm gone, leaving a soggy world outside. Henry muttered I could leave after breakfast. His tone flat, I nodded, folding the blanket aged given me, but my eyes caught the neglected shelves, scuffed floors without asking. I grabbed a rag and started wiping the bar. He frowned but didn't stop me. I cleaned the desk, swept the entrance, my hands moving with quiet purpose. By the time he set out toast and coffee, the lobby looked less like a grave. I didn't ask for that, he said, sitting across from me. I shrugged. No one else would. A ghost of a smile flickered on his face, quickly buried in his mug. For the first time, the air felt lighter. The rain lingered, and so did Henry didn't push me out, and I kept folding musty towels, scrubbing windows. We didn't talk much, but a silent truce group. I saw the end's bones, gold trim dulled by time, chairs worn but sturdy. It had charm buried under years of despair. By afternoon, the lobby gleamed faintly, and Henry's skull softened. Though he grumbled, "You can't stay forever." I met his gaze. "I know. But you need help till the weather clears." He sighed, knowing I was right. Days passed, the sky brightened, and I stayed tending to small fixes, replacing bulbs, airing rooms. Henry watched, torn between annoyance and something else. One morning, a delivery truck rumbled up. I hauled in boxes of fresh linens, smiling as Henry stared. "What's this?" he asked. "Sheet." I said, "If you want guests, start here." He bristled. How'd I pay? But I waved it off. I've got ways. I scraped savings from odd jobs. A gamble I didn't explain. That night, a fisherman wandered in, blinking at the changes open again. He asked, "Getting there?" I replied before Henry could. A word spread fast in this small town. Locals peeked and drawn by the shift, and I greeted them, acting like the inn was already alive. Henry hovered, skeptical but quiet, his pride stirring. Then Tom Carver, a rivet, Henry's old rival, a hotel mogul, had thrived while Crestview sank. He smirked in the lobby, eyeing my work. Still clinging to this wreck, he taunted, "Sell it, Henry." I watched Henry's jaw tighten, but he stayed cool. "Not your business." Tom laughed and laughed, but his words lingered. That night, Henry brooded at the bar. I slid beside him. "He's wrong. You don't need to prove him, right?" He exhaled. "It's not him, it's me." His doubt cut deep, but I wouldn't let it fester. The next day, I hit the streets, pitching the inn to shopkeepers and fishermen. By dusk, volunteers showed up, tools in hand, ready to paint and patch. Henry stood stunned. "What's this support?" I said. "You're not alone in this." They worked fast, the inn humming with life. Henry watched, conflicted, then muttered, "I didn't ask for this." I grinned. "Didn't have to." That weekend, we threw a small gathering. Music, food, locals filling the dining hall. I wove through hosting while Henry joined old friends, a spark in his eyes not bad. He admitted later, a real smile breaking through. You've done more than I ever did. Weeks later, I sat in Henry's office. Sketches spread out cottages. A calf tie-in with the town. It's not just fixing, I said. It's building, he tapped the desk. Weary, risky. So is quitting, I shot back. He studied me, then nodded. Crestview wasn't whole, but it breathed again because of me. A drifter had found a fight worth winning.